talking about a victimless crime. They find an ordinance or a law that it's never been used ever before in anyone else.
He's committed bank fraud where there's no victim.
They are not victimless crimes. First, the banks got paid back at lower interest rates, although, to be honest, who gives a shit? But second, money isn't infinite. A loan that goes to the liar doesn't go to someone who's giving a more honest evaluation. So the system becomes incentivized for corruption.
Jon, if you do this, you will kill the market for years. It's over. And you're selling something that you know has no value.
We are selling to willing buyers at the current fair market price so that we may survive.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and Jon Stewart, I guess, just admitted it after being outed for committing fraud, very similar to the same things that he railed against Trump for. Okay, maybe not exactly the same thing, okay, but very similarly so. On Monday's show, it came out, I don't know, within minutes that he had done the exact same thing, only worse. In fact, in New York City, Jon Stewart's duplex, according to him, is worth the exact same amount as Trump's Mar-a-Lago. I'm not kidding you. And he went to Twitter last night to try and deflect, only to get ruthlessly ratioed into oblivion. The man is a fraud. He's now admitted he's a fraud, and his only defense is, yeah, but this other guy's worse. That's his literal defense. His defense is not that he didn't commit fraud. It's that, yeah, I committed fraud, but this other guy, what a colossal idiot. I can't believe he sent that tweet. I suppose we do know it is capital D different for Democrats out there. We live in a two-tier justice system. But I want to remind you now through the weekend, speaking of what? Speaking of delicious coffee, my coffee company, Coffee Brand Coffee, is going 15% off site-wide with promo code LOVE. You can also sign up for Jeremy's Club, which is how you can earn rewards. It's totally free to sign up for. Promo code LOVE, 15% off. You've heard me talk about my coffee before. I think it's the best you can get online. It's not some crappy drop ship stuff like a lot of other people. Promo code LOVE. Try our blueberry cobbler, strawberries and cream, a little unflavored creamer, a little sweetener in there, or our silky dark roast, or our double calf. We have decaf, our bourbon flavor, our dark roast, our regular unflavored stuff is all so good. CoffeeBrandCoffee.com, promo code LOVE. Jon Stewart mocks New York Post story questioning his duplex sale. Jon Stewart responded with his characteristic wit. Oh, we're going to see about that. On Wednesday, if the New York Post centered around right-wing commentator suite, I think Tim Pool, tried to depict the Comedy Central host as a hypocrite after he criticized Donald Trump's justification of bank fraud as a victimless crime. By the way, this is the Daily Beast, just so we're clear, right? They're going to run cover for Jon Stewart. The Post quoted podcaster Tim Pool, who baselessly wondered whether Stewart committed fraud. Baselessly, he was paying taxes on $800,000, even though his place was apparently worth $14 million. What do you mean? Anyway, for a New York City, by the way, it was a duplex that he sold for $17.5 million. By the way, the same roughly that they say Mar-a-Lago's worth in New York. The publication based that conclusion on the fact that the assessor records from the year showed property estimated market value sitting at $1.8 million. According to the Post, the property's assessed value is under $850,000, which is what he pays taxes on. So he paid taxes on $850K on a building worth $17.5 million. Now, by the way, normally I'd say huge W. Huge W. I stan anyone protecting their money against the IRS because they just want to take it from you and send it over to Israel and Ukraine anyway. So you know what? Based Jon Stewart sticking it to the IRS. Unfortunately, Jon Stewart spent 2/3 of his Monday's 1-hour TDS Spurgout Fest whining about Trump doing similar things. By the way, this is something everybody does in real estate. Donald Trump was the first person ever charged with it. On Monday's episode, the Daily Show, Stewart explained why Donald Trump's claim that his bank fraud judgment for inflating property values to secure better loans and then using lower values for tax purposes was not a victimless crime. It basically is. Essentially, what you're saying is, hey, I need a loan of $100,000 and my house is worth $1.1 million when maybe it's really worth $900,000. The bank says, okay, whatever. The bank could certainly check those figures, right? It's the bank's responsibility to check those figures, right? Anyway, and then, of course, using the lower value to pay taxes. Again, huge W. Screw the banks. Screw the IRS. Now I'm probably going to get audited. But again, I don't have any problem with people doing this. Money isn't infinite. A loan that goes to a liar doesn't go to someone who's giving an honest valuation. That's actually unprovable. Has a bank come out in the last 10 years and said, we don't have any money to give you? I don't believe that's happened. If it has, there are other banks that have money. So I'd say, yeah, money is infinite. I mean, during the lockdowns, we saw that money was infinite, right? The government just printed trillions of dollars out of thin air. Seems like when we have to fund, a war for Israel, money's infinite. We have to fund a proxy war between Ukraine and Russia. I mean, between the United States and Russia, money's infinite. So let's not selectively pick and choose when money is or is not infinite, right? Jon Stewart would have said money is infinite to help fight the coof, right? These comments apparently spurred Tim Pool and later the Post to look into Stewart's own past. Did Stewart commit fraud when he sold his penthouse for $17.5 million? New York listed its market value at 1.8 and assessed value around $800K. Pool asked in a post on X. But Stewart wasn't having it. I like how they show this tweet. By the way, the New York Post liked this post, I think. Looks like. Or the Daily Beast. Wait till we see the replies. He gets shredded in the replies. So again, first of all, OMG, I've been caught doing something not remotely similar to Trump. Okay, so let's just stop right there. So you did it. And you admit you did it. Jon Stewart committed tax fraud. Case closed. Go prosecute him, Letitia James. Or are you buying more powerful buttons to hold those blazers closed? Are you too busy doing that? And instead of taking responsibility, what he says was, I guess all I have to do now is start a fraud college, steal classified documents, bank. So all he said is, I just have, yes, I did it, but there's another guy who's worse. There's another guy who's worse. So, what? Okay, so, oops, you accidentally admitted it? Tim Pool says the victim lost around $4 million on the deal, according to the New York Post. For shame, Jon Stewart. By the way, I saw Jimmy Dore. I thought I had, and before we look at that, I want to look at Jimmy Dore's post, because I think Jimmy Dore posted something on this too. Here we go. Here's a picture of pro-war pig Jon Stewart giving a medal to a legit Nazi in the service of the war machine right after he gave a tongue bath to two blood-soaked war criminals and did an entire show lying to promote the coup. Oops. Oops. Oopsies. Now he's been caught doing the exact same thing he's been screaming about Trump doing, inflating the value of his property he owns. And he responds like all narcissists, egomaniacs respond when caught being the thing they claim to be. So his response, of course, says, oh, well, Drumpf is worse. Drumpf is worse. He got 60,000 likes, but 20,000 comments. You can see my comment is 12,000 likes. That might be one of my most liked replies ever. Fraud, you got caught. You lied about the value of your property. Will you turn yourself in? Nah, just a hypocrite then. Cat Turd says, unfunny hypocrite says, what? Cernovich, you didn't pay your fair share of taxes. Another smug hypocrite with no values. 20,000 likes. Remember when you were kind of funny? For the record, Mega doesn't care that you made more money than you should have We care about hypocrites. We're all for capitalism and making money, just not people who live by rules for thee, but not for me. I agree. You've heard me say earlier in this video. Based. Good. Screw the banks and screw the IRS. Based. Taxation is theft. Okay, they're stealing our money and giving it to and enriching themselves. So I don't care if Jon Stewart did the best he could to keep the money out of the government's hands. Unfortunately, for Jon Stewart, he had just spent the last 2 hours whining and complaining about somebody else doing that. You see Jack Posobiec with the actual assessment role showing, actually showing the receipts. And I like how they're saying, I like how basically all the TDS people, the Trump derangement syndrome people, they're like, oh my God, like, oh yeah, but cool. I think everyone should pay the least amount of taxes they possibly can. But they didn't go on TV whining and complaining about it. Letitia James, when John does the exact same thing as Trump. I mean, Trump overvalues property in New York. That's why he's in trouble. I overvalue my property 829%, which is completely different. You see Jay Cash saying, you reduce your taxes by using a lower assessment and sold at a much higher than assessed value. That's more than not remotely similar. That's even worse. Hollywood hypocrisy at its finest. Deflection is the name of the game. Can't wait for your indictments. Cheating the tax system. I mean, you lost, John. Man up. The President Trump has diplomatic immunity. You don't. You're a professional comedian and that's your response. I mean, it's very hilarious. It is like the best possible. I hope he copes about this in his next show because he's already admitted that he did it, right? So now, is the Attorney General in New York going to prosecute Jon Stewart? Are they going to prosecute him? You overvalue your property. Your victim lost $4 million. You said publicly you believe people who do this, even without a victim, should be prosecuted and fined $500 million. I'm on pins and needles waiting for you to turn yourself in. Oopsie doopsie. Oopsie doopsie. We'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath to see if he gets prosecuted, but he absolutely should be, especially since he just admitted it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. We'll see you tonight, 5:30 Eastern. I've got Melanie Mack on my live stream. It should be a lot of fun. If you haven't yet, follow or subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.